Hello and welcome back to the Craftsmen Collective. As always, Rock here, and today we're just doing a little bit of mining, gathering some resources. We ended up using quite a bit of resources on the project that we were working on between last episode and today, which I will be showing you a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to continue doing a little bit of mining and regathering some resources. We're take advantage of our Silk Touch pick that we've got. It seems since I guess with the superior enchantment system, for at least for me, it's becoming a lot easier to get Silk Touch. It more or less, all I have to do is just kind of get to a nice high level and then enchant, and I have a really good diamond, a really good chance of getting Silk Touch. Much the same with I think Feather Falling, but I think with the superior enchantment mod, you can, as long as you keep upgrading, you're pretty much guaranteed to get that. But we're just going through, getting a little resources. Let's see, what else can we talk about? I ended up doing some modifications to the WRCBE mod last weekend as well. It had been prior to that, it had been about 4 months since I had last touched the code base for it, so it took me a little bit to get reacquainted with it, but it turned out pretty well. I added a new ability for each class, so each class has 4 abilities now instead of the 3. I also did some other minor modifications, made stuff work a little better, made items no longer drop when you die. The downside, you have to repick your class each time, but it's only a proof of concept, so it didn't really matter too much. And the reason for that was it was initially intended that we're going to do a little PvP session. Cal unfortunately wasn't able to make it, and so Dugan, myself, and Pi, we did some PvP, and that turned out quite fun. I might at some point, I know Sax was wanting to see the mod, and at some point when he gets back from his things that he has to do, I might end up showing him. But I would at some soonish point like to show off the additions to the WRCBE mod, in addition to kind of just like hey, this is the mod as a whole. So that's something I would say look forward to. Hopefully this week, maybe on Saturday, as I did change my airing schedule to have Monday and Saturday to be kind of up in the air episodes of depending on what I feel like. Speaking of Monday, today for me, yesterday for you, I aired the last episode of Dire Dreams. Now I wasn't successful in completing it. I ended up kind of giving up. Well, I guess, yeah, more or less I ended up surrendering to the map. Not that it was a bad map. It just wasn't. There's a lot of various aspects to it. More or less, it wasn't. At least it wasn't for me. I think, additionally to that, the map could use a little bit of balancing, but that comes with playtesting it, and as it was a smaller map by someone who's hasn't necessarily done a whole lot of CTM style maps, you don't get the opportunity to do a lot of playtesting with it. So I don't completely blame him. I think overall the design of the map was really good. It was just the balance of mobs and how many mobs and all that, which I think overall is kind of the hardest part of making a CTM map, is that kind of mob balance and what mobs should go where, when you should introduce mobs and such. So I know he has another map, Animus Awakening. I might check it out at some point. From what he has said, it is much easier and much more forgiving than Dire Dreams. So I don't count that map out. I might check it out at some point. But I have a few other maps that I intend to play before that. So once I get through them, I might look into it. I know I do plan to look into it at some point, just probably not in the super near future. Let's see what else. Talked about Rock PG. Talked about our Monumental Victory. For those of you who don't know, I do have another plant in store for Monumental Victory. We will be moving on to the newest installment in the Super Hostile series, Waking Up, which is a 1.3 map. So we'll be upgrading our Monumental Victory client /jar to be a 1.3 compatible, or in this case 1.3.2, and we will be moving on to Waking Up. Now, from what I understand, it's brutally hard, and I was talking with one of my buddies about the map, and she's been watching she's been watching Pause and Pause play it, and she kind of laughed hysterically when I when talking about the map. So I'm excited. Oh, don't die. I'm a little bit excited about the map. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna continue mining for now, recover some HP, get a little bit more resources. Once I finish that, I will meet you guys back at base, and we will check over our loot that we got. Unless I find, a cave or something, and then I might jump back with you guys, and we might explore the cave a little bit. But until then, I will catch you guys in a minute. Alright, so we're back from our mining expedition, and we're in our temporary storage place. We did lose a little bit of gear, and as you can see by that right there, we did die. After our helmet and our body blew up, or broke off, a creeper snuck up behind us and exploded and killed us. So we'll just go ahead and remove that now. But it was a very fruitful adventure. Let's go in. We got 11 lapis lazuli ore, which is pretty good. 12 rubies, also good. We got a stack and a half of iron, which is also pretty good because apparently iron is pretty important for some of the mods. I think the Buildcraft stuff. And since we haven't even really gotten into it yet, it's best that we start collecting the iron, and the gold too is pretty important. Collecting the iron and gold before we start getting into it. We also got some emeralds, some sapphires, some. I must have lost it in the explosion. I had some apatite ore blocks, but I guess I lost them, I think. Yeah, it looks like I lost them. Got 11 diamond blocks, pretty good. Some tungsten, which goes in the other chest. Some coal. I think we're right about at the point where we don't really need to collect coal anymore. All of these is going to drop a ton of coal with our Fortune 3 pick, so I think once we get a row of coal blocks, we don't really need to worry about them anymore, at least until we start using them. I'm thinking I might use the ores themselves, or various ores themselves in designs, for maybe floor patterns or for various rooms and stuff. But I haven't completely decided yet. Some rock salt, some tin, and some silver, some nickelite, which the nickelite is kind of getting to the same situation for this coal. We're not gonna need to start collecting any of it soon. 50 redstone. Redstone is probably one of the most important ones that I needed to really find, because we use up quite a bit of redstone in this next project that we finished up for now, that I'm gonna show you in a minute, which it involves these. I don't know if you've guessed what it is yet. Keep your guess in mind. We will be getting over there in a second. Let me get rid of this. Deposit our obsidian. And gunpowder. And cobble. Alright, so the project that I was referencing, also you might have noticed when I was on fire, that effect was really weird looking, and then this gate right here looks really weird looking. I went into Optifine, and under animations you can turn off your texture animations and particle effect animations. And that is because of the blaze farm. So we've been doing a lot of work, as you can tell, over the last bit of days. We have successfully set up a double blaze farm. This right here was the blaze spawner that we had initially, and then this one is that other one that was off in the distance over there. And I ended up signing in, and Niceros was kind enough that he had moved it over into location while we were away, which really saved us a lot of effort. Because I had no idea how to move these things, and I was gonna have Niceros help me move it anyway, so that kind of killed two birds with one stone. So this right here is the design that I went with for the. Actually, let me turn on my animations, particle effects, and all that. This is the design I ended up going for with the build. So as you can see, we have a lot of glowstone lamps. We have this red power 2 coated wire that comes down into a glowstone lamp, and then under the portal right there, there's a whole slew of glowstone lamps. Now, the reason why we had to have so many glowstone lamps is because of the properties of a blaze spotter. More specifically, blaze spawners can only spawn in a light level of 11 or less, which in comparison to a normal spawner is much higher. So with that, you need to have a lot more light in order to successfully cut off its ability to spawn. Now, this is actually the second iteration design for the blaze spawner. The first one was a lot bigger of an area, and I showed it. I think I showed it to you last episode, where it was kind of starting to get circular. I ended up stepping back and looking at it. I ended up looking up some designs for a blaze farm. I stumbled upon Etho's video for a blaze farm. This is a very primitive use. It's kind of the frame of it was his idea, and then the rest of it I built off myself. So in his video, he describes the exact spacing and how to figure out the area you need. Ultimately, you need an 8 by 8 by 3 area is where they can spawn in. And since it's 8 by 8, it's not centered, as you can see right here. We're right here, which in this 6 wide area right here, it's not centered. So it's an 8x8x3 area in order for the blaze to spawn, and it must have must pretty much have to light all the area to be a light level of 12 or greater, which is where pretty much all this lighting comes into play. But he initially had this frame. These glowstones were just regular cobblestone, I think, and we changed that to glowstone lamps, and the same with all of the sides. He had this glass ceiling-ish area. We added glowstone lamps up there. Instead of having a floor, we had to have our gate in order for the blaze to fall into. And of course the red power wiring going under the glowstone lamps. And then at the very bottom, underneath the gate, we have more lamps in order to pass light up through. And from what I can tell, the light will transfer through the crystal gate itself. So that helps a lot. So with this lighting situation, it provides adequate lighting in order to shut off the blaze spawning. And we are allowed with that to hook it up to a switch. And all of these, both of these blaze spawners are identical, except I guess oriented slightly differently. And they're all hooked up to this little switch right here, which is the spawn mode switch. When it's up, it's off, and when it's down, it's on. And I kind of made a little instruction board for the people of the server who haven't used it yet, and they end up coming over here to do some XP grinding. And I'll just go over quickly what the instructions are. So the first thing you end up doing is you turn on the blaze switch in order to turn off the lights. You then stand on this diamond ore block right here. That right there is positioned in a way that you're within range of both spawners in order for them to spin. Initially it was right there in the ground level, but in order for the blaze to be triggered, you needed to stand in this top left corner right here for them both to trigger. So if we stood, in this bottom left corner, that one won't trigger, but that one will. If we stand in the bottom right, neither of them are triggering. We stand up here, and only that one, but not that one's triggering. So you had to stand right here. I felt that was a little unclear for anyone who was using the spawner, and so I moved the block over here. And pretty much regardless of where you stand on that, you're gonna get spawns anyways. So after you stand on that, you sit around, and when you're ready to harvest, you turn off the spawn mode, and then you press the poison button, which shoots poison potions out of you push one of the poison buttons. After that, it shoots out a poison splash potion, depending on which one you pressed, which will poison the blaze down to half a heart, and you'll hear them taking damage until they're at a half a heart, and at which point they'll stop taking damage because you can't die to poison. And then at that point, we go to step 4, which is we take one of the instant damage potions from my chest, and we throw it into this area right here. Because this is a half block right here, they'll pretty much stand right here, and it's an opening, and we can throw the poison potion and kill them right there. That overall is how the whole system works. It's very, very easy to use once you, I guess, have an understanding of how it works. And it's very, very efficient. We have 2 spawners going, each of which can spawn, which would typically spawn 4, sometimes 3, I think, mobs from it, which gives us, 6 to 8. It's essentially 6 to 8 Endermen per little thing. Now, typically what I do is when I come to do some blaze farming, I'll sit here with F3 on. I'll look at this little opening right here, and then I'll look at the E count, which is the entity count on the top left. And when the count is somewhere around 200 dash whatever, or slash whatever, is when I'll typically harvest. And I get a lot of levels off of that. And you can do more. I've gotten up to 300 before. And I had asked Naceros what the limit for how many to do at once, how many at most He had said 300 is when the server starts lagging, so I did it once when there was no one really else on, and I got a lot of XP out of it. Other than that, I typically will go to about 200. That's when I'll start having client lag a little bit with the animation effects off from Optifine, which is why I have a little note here to turn off the animation effects to prevent the client side lag. But typically around 200 is when I start getting a little bit of lag, and that's usually when I've been harvesting, when there's people in the server. When there's no one else, you can go for a much higher value. But when there's more people in the server, you don't want to go too high, as it could potentially start lagging the server and everyone else. So that's the system itself. The room is a bit barren, a bit empty. I would like to do something with it, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it. The ceiling is just a little design I kind of threw together just to kind of mix the dark wood and the light wood with some glowstone in the middle, allowing this whole room to be lit fairly well. Some random chest with some more poison potions, our portal home. Back here we have our enchanting table. I haven't set it up to be a variable enchanting table yet. I still need to, this whole back room area I still need to tweak a bit. This is the potion refill, so you can come back here and easily refill it, or you can do it from the front if you get up close. Now, unfortunately, because we're still in 1.2.5 and mobs are fairly glitchy, once you start getting a bunch of mobs in the system, it's really starts becoming harder to refill these if you need to. So typically, you wanna refill these when you're not trying to grind XP and there's a lot of blaze in there. Could break that. I had a little chest here with some enchantments as a mini enchantment exchange, but I moved those over to the Nexus, which I will show you after this. And also, a few of the people in the server have been coming over and taking advantage of it, and they've all had good things to say about it, which I'm kind of happy about, because I did put in quite a bit of work on Saturday or Sunday, I think. So I'm glad everyone likes it. And people came over, and Naceros put a little warp so he can get back to his castle. And someone, I think it might be Captain or Naceros or someone else, put a portal to the Nexus here. And from what I understand, Captain has a portal from his base to the Blaze Farm. So it seems like people are taking advantage of the Blaze Farm and enjoying it. So I'm glad for that. So with that, we will head over to the Nexus. The Nexus has actually gotten quite a bit of a revamp since last time we recorded. This is the regular area we had before, with all the base portals. They've been shifted around a little bit as we've gotten newer people. I didn't mention this before, but we got a week or two ago, I think, we got X-Wing Ian from the public server that also joined us on the private server. So then we got our Warp Worlds captain, being as extravagant as he is, decided to make his own gate instead of just using a book. What we say to that is show off. That's what we say to that. And so other than that, the base of the Nexus has gone through quite a bit of an upgrade. And just to point this out, I have no idea what this is. I assume someone was AFK here and they trapped him inside there, but I have no idea. So we got over here, we got our birthday board that shows the birthdays of all the members on the server. I'm not going to get too close to that, as you guys don't necessarily need to know everyone's birthday. But then we got some stuff here. We got Rock's Enchanted Goodies. I took some, I did some enchanting stuff, and I ended up bringing it over here. I've been slowly giving everyone on the server that's wanted it feather falling boots, because I've noticed a lot of people falling and dying, and so I gave people feather fall boots. So I gave Calbeast, and I gave Pie Guy and Saxman, I gave Naceros, I gave Dugan, and for everyone else on the server who hasn't gotten a pair yet, I will be leaving pairs of feather fallout boots as I make them in my Rocks Enchanted Goodies chest, so you are free to come and grab a pair, or just grab any enchanted gear that you want. I typically like to just AFK a little bit and do a little bit of XP grinding, as it's fairly easy on the Blaze farm, and so I usually will enchant a few things and then go about my business. So anyone's welcome to on the server is welcome to come and grab some of that. So then we got some other stuff, some arrows, some weapons and tools, which are kind of the smaller basic stuff. Got some bones, some ender pearls, Kelby's trinkets, some random things, blaze rods, which are all from the Blaze farm, eggs, rotten flesh, and pies, which I had a few, but I ended up eating them, and I'm gonna grab a couple, as I'd rather eat these pies than this zombie jerky I've been eating recently. Other than that, we come over here to this side of the Nexus. This is where we start getting into the automated farms that have been added to the Nexus area for convenience purposes. So we got, come up here, we got a cactus farm. And all of these are automated by I think Buildcraft machines, and they all pipe the stuff that they gather into these chests. So we got this cactus chest that gets harvested from there. We got these melons and pumpkins that are harvested from there, which are quite a lot. We come over here, and this is a peat bog, or earth peat bog. It creates peat. I don't exactly know what peat is used for. That's something I'll end up looking into and finding out at some point. But for the moment, I have no idea what they're used for. Sugarcane, which the stub reads. That's all that. We got our trees over here, or wood, which there's quite a good variety of wood. We got some normal wood. We got some normal wood. We got some birch wood. We got some spruce wood. The only wood that we don't have in this chest is jungle wood, but that's probably the trees will probably be too big for the area that's kind of needed for it. We got the wheat from that wheat farm right there, and then people have taken the wheat and moved it and made it bread into this chest right here. And I think that is it for the automated farms. I'm gonna try not using this a huge amount. I will use it some for specific things. For example, if I need some sugarcane, because at the moment I don't have a sugarcane farm like I did on the Neceros Nation. I might come here and grab a little bit of sugarcane if I need to make some paper, or I need sugar for brewing melons and pumpkins. I don't really need at the moment wood. I'll probably every so often come over and maybe grab a stack of wood if I need it. But we do have wood at our base that I typically will go out and harvest and then replant the saplings. So I'll on occasion come and get some wood here, but I won't necessarily get here all the time. I might stop here and grab some bread from time to time, as we don't have our HarvestCraft farms like we did on the Neceros Nation set up yet, which is something we're going to have to get to soon, I think, because we're depending on either other people's food generosity with like the pies and and other stuff like that, or we've just been eating really crappy food like zombie jerky. So that's it for the new additions to the base. Let's see. I was gonna show you another thing I thought. Not sure. I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna head over to the base and I'm gonna do a little thinking of what we want to do for today, or if there's anything else we want to do for today. So I will be back in a few minutes. Alright, so we're back for one last thing before we end the episode. And I'm gonna show you the finished temple. We got a bit of got a bit more work we did on the temple. We ended up getting some mossy cobblestone, and we decked out our temple. You know, mossy cobblestone half slabs, and we also added mossy stone brick and cracked stone brick to the temple to make it feel like it's been here for a while and it's aged. We also did the wiring on the entrance. So you press the button, it opens. After a brief period of time, it will close. There we go. So let's jump right in. Take a quick look at the wiring. So this right here is where the button is. The button comes and powers this wire, which comes down here. This wire will send it into this repeater. This repeater then sends it to this monostable circuit, and it sends it to this repeater chain right here. Now, I ended up using this, well, it sends it to two places. It sends it to this repeater chain, and then this one repeater right here, and this is the latch, the toggle latch. Now, I ended up using a repeater chain like this, only because of the way that the repeater works. It holds power after it's finished. Like you'll power it, and then it'll send power off to the other end, but it'll still be containing power. So if we press the button up there, and then before it finishes, we press it again, it could potentially mess up, or not act like we wanted to. Just little things like that. So we ended up changing it to just a little repeater chain like this, as a monostable. One tick pulse will just kind of chill on one repeater instead of that whole thing. And so so it sends power into here, which will toggle this to be open, and then after the set amount of time, it toggles again to be closed. And of course, this little repeater goes over to this right here. This will go up this side, and it will power our two pistons right here. So it's fairly compact, I guess with the exception of that right there, which I don't really mind. It's under the temple, and it's well lit, so it's not gonna screw that piston bug. It's not gonna cause really any problems. We still need to kind of fill out the ground over here with dirt, so you can't see under the temple, but that's not something that's we're in too much of a hurry to do. We also got to put our mailbox back up so people can send us mail if they want. But that's the temple pretty much done, with the exception of some minor polish stuff. But we can press it, jump in, Geek Glitch portal down into our basement. I also found out that the MystCraft gates, also, I think they can be set to not, but in general, they'll maintain your velocity that you had. So I had to have the gate a little higher up than I had initially planned. That way, you did take fall damage when you came down to here. But I think that's kind of it for the episode. Next time when we come do for our next episode, we're gonna do a little work on a portal room, maybe off in this direction. We also might do some redstone work for a variable enchanting table. But I know I'm gonna at least next episode do the portal room, so that people can kind of set up little portals to and from here. It will also set up a portal in the Nexus so people can get from the Nexus to here, instead of having to come through my base to get to here. But I think that's it for today. As always, if you have any comments, suggestions, feedback, feel free to leave it down in the comment section down below. And as always, I'm Rock, and I'll catch you guys next time.